Welcome back to a brand new video log post-fight Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series episode 7. Bit of a mouthful. And another stunning night of fights. Really good competitive fights. Ready-made fighters, tailor-made for the UFC. All that jazz. 5 fights, 5 finishes. Whoops, sorry, my hands are kind of moving over this way. And 4 UFC contracts handed out. Like I say, a really good competitive night of fight, great fighters, and sorry to harp on about it, but it is the best way to find talent for the UFC, and I really hope that they continue this on a more regular basis, because it's been so consistent between this series and last year. Really high level fights, like I say, straight into the UFC, ready to go. And tonight, 4 contracts handed out. No developmental nonsense thing. I don't even know what it is. But these guys are going straight to the UFC. So really, I guess the way we'll go through it, like we usually do, is go through the contract winners. We'll discuss their fight, and then obviously we'll go through the last fight, which didn't have anybody winning a contract. So we'll go with, on my piece of paper here, Juan Adams fought Sean Teed in a really good... Well, it was a great showing for Juan Adams. Sean Teed looked very overwhelmed. And Juan Adams, for someone in his infancy in his professional mixed martial arts career, is now 4-0. 3-0 obviously coming into the fight. But the way he was able to dominate Teed from start to finish was just incredible. He overawed him. He was basically, laying on top. Teed gassed out big time from a barrage of about an 8 or 9 punch combination early on against the cage. Teed couldn't fight out of it. He dropped, level change to try to get a takedown. That position was reversed. He did everything that he possibly could to try to stay in the fight, regroup, but Adams swarmed upon him, and he was just relentless. It was just like wearing a jumper basically for while the fight lasted, and it was just Look, Teed will probably learn a lot from this fight, but Adams just looked so good, and he was able to flatten Teed out and grind him out and land some big TKO finishing ground and pound strikes. It was a really beautiful performance. Like I say, Teed ate a huge amount of punishment in the early goings of the fight, and now as a result, Juan Adams gets a UFC contract. Really, it was well deserved, and it was a really good fight, and I like what I see. Again, very early days in his mixed martial arts career, so they'll need to build him properly, but they can't feed him, guys. I know that the heavyweight division is quite shallow right now, but they need to just feed him and build him up slowly, getting the pad out his record a bit. But a really nice showing from Juan Adams. Welcome to the UFC, and look forward to see how you go from there. Moving on then, Jordan Griffin also got a UFC contract. He defeated Maurice Mitchell via beautiful submission, rear naked choking in the first round. But this was a really good back and forth battle. I mean, both guys were landing big. Mitchell came out strong. He was landing, some nice punches. Nearly had a submission of his own. That Griffin was able to fight out of. Well, I say fight out of. He didn't really fight out of it. He just got lucky in that he turned his body in a way that just caused Mitchell to let go of the choke, and as a result, Griffin's able to reverse the position, able to stand back up to his feet, and both guys just land forward. He comes crushing in with a nice left hook. He gets nailed with a counter of his own, an instinctive shot thrown by Mitchell, and in the post-fight conference, Griffin said that he was seeing double basically, and just threw a lucky punch and it was the punch that landed, and was able to drop Mitchell to the ground, was able to take us back and just snapped on a rear neck. It was so quick. It was lightning quick how he was able to secure the back, get the hooks in, hands under the chin, clamp them together. The whole sequence lasted about 6 or 7 seconds. It was incredible how he was able to slap it on and get the choke on, tighten up the grip. Beautiful finish. And funnily enough, Dana White actually, when he was making his decision, overlooked Jordan Griffin. He went from Juan Adams to the fight after that, and only when he saw the highlights being played in the background did he say that he was going to take Jordan Griffin, and basically called it an audible and just threw him in. And I think it was good because it was such a battle tested fight for Griffin. He took some punishment. He overcame some early adversity in the fight and was able to, like I say, reverse the position, snap on a rear naked choke. Took a bit of damage, but he'll learn a lot from it, and it was a really, really good showing, and that's what you need. You need someone who's going to be willing to eat some shots to get a victory of their own, and that's what's going to happen in the UFC. And like I say, so he joins Juan Adams in the UFC. Really nice performance. Moving on then, a really interesting story with Ian Hainish and Justin Sumpter. Justin Sumpter is a teammate of Nick Newell, who fought last week on the Contender Series. Obviously, he didn't get a contract, but many people were, really just coming out with nice plaudits for Nick Newell last week. But like I say, a teammate of Nick Newell, but Justin Sumpter just couldn't get the job done. He was trying earlier on to take Heinish's back or whatever, but getting on to Heinish's story beforehand, crazy story in dealing drugs, etc. A hit put out on him, essentially, just wild stuff. And then from to overcome all that to come into the UFC, into mixed martial arts and really clean up his life and get sober and become clean is I think everyone deserves kind of a second chance in life, and this was a really interesting, crazy story, kind of on the level of Jared Gordon's stories. That's a bit of a tangent, but if you ever have the time, definitely check out his stories, Jared Gordon's stories. Wild stuff. But Hainish, goes through all of that, is able to, he gets a nice ground and pound, vicious elbow finish over Sumpter, and Neff finds his way into the UFC. It was a really nice performance, actually, but Sumpter, like I say, did have Hainish kind of in trouble a little bit. He was in his guard, and he was looking to rain down punches of his own. Took us back briefly too, but Hainish was able to reverse the position. A really beautiful sweep, ends up on top, and he was calm and composed and collected. He softened him up with the body first, a few punches to the head here and there, got his opening, and when the opening came, he just landed bomb after bomb after bomb, about 4 or 5 elbows, and on the third elbow the referee called a stop to the action. And Hainish is now in the UFC. A really, really good performance, kind of a nice redemption story that people can get behind too. They can build off of that, they can build them up. Really, really nice fight and a really nice performance from Hainish. Look forward to seeing what he can do now in the UFC. Moving on to the final contract, the final awarded contract to a fighter was in the main feature of the evening, which was Roosevelt Roberts, who fought Garrett Gross. Really, really dominant fight from Roberts over 2 rounds while it lasted. I mean, Gross just didn't have anything about him on the mat. He wasn't explosive enough. I mean, he was taken down at ease. Roberts able to just really just have his way, pepper him with body shots, always looking to transition, always looking to try and move around, advance his position, and just, Gross was a bit overwhelmed, I think, in there, and he just looked very frustrated when he got up after the first round. Barely landed anything on Roberts at all, just got taken down big time. And then Roberts in the second round was able to slap on a rear naked choke in a really kind of quick sequence. He gets the victory and ultimately gets a UFC contract. It was a really nice dominant performance. I would like to see him maybe a bit tested a bit more, but he will now in the UFC for sure. Gross, he'll be disappointed, he'll be frustrated with that performance, I think. But again, a lot to work on, especially on the back. We knew coming in that he was a good striker, but off the mat, he's lacking a bit of skill, lacking a bit of fight IQ. As to how to reverse positions, how to push off an opponent and get back up to the feet. But like I say, really nice performance from Roberts, got through it, and a really, really good solid victory and the UFC contract for him. And in the final fight that we're going to discuss now on the card was a heavyweight contest between Don'Tale Mayes and Mitchell Sipe. I'm going to call him Sipe. It was an interesting fight. It was a bit of a sloppy fight. Again, no contract was awarded to either fighter. You're not going to get awarded the contract if you're on the losing side. In the case of Mitchell Sipe, but don't tell Mays. It was an interesting one. Sipe had him kind of hurt in the first round. Midway through the first round, Mays just gasped out completely. He was trying to get some offense off. He wasn't doing anything. Both guys were telegraphing everything, winging punches. But even if they connected, it wouldn't have been a stinging punch. It just would have been glancing. It was a bit of a messy fight in that regard. But in the second round, Mays was able to land a big elbow on Sipe, and it cut open on the left hand side, and it was dripping blood like crazy. Referee calls in the doctor. Now, one of those cuts where it's kind of over the eye and it's dripping down this side. It's not, not going into the eye, so the vision isn't going to be impaired. And I'm not a squeamish kind of guy, really. I've seen thousands of fights now to have seen it all. Leg breaks, arm breaks, blood, you name it. But I'm not sure if it was a time of the morning that I caught up in the fights while drinking my coffee. When the doctor pulled away the bandage and you just see this gash just pour out, this pussy blood. Oh, it was just... It was vicious, but it was a nice clean elbow that caught him. A really, really bloody fight. Just one of the bloodiest fights I've seen in a while. Just blood all over the canvas, blood all over each other. It was crazy. It was wild. But that was about the only really kind of significant kind of big action, notable action that really happened. Mays is able to take down Sipe on the ground. He's able to get off some nice, ground and pound. It wasn't as if it was kind of, damaging shots. It was just the sheer volume that the referee said, I'm going to call a halt to the fight. Because Sipe, you're not moving, and look, even though you're punching, you're not really hurting him. You're not knocking him out or anything. You're just the volume and the lack of defending calls an end to the contest. But it was a sloppy fight, and I kind of agree with the decision not to give Mays a contract. Look, he gassed out badly. He still got the victory, but it just wasn't kind of one of those fights that you'd say, okay, you're not particularly ready for the highest level yet. Go away, by all means, work on your cardio. Again, it's another victory for your record, for your professional record. You have the experience. Maybe come back again, maybe next year. Say, you know what? I know what to expect now. I know that the crowd noise is. You see everybody. All the lights are on. It's a different type of environment for fighting. Get that experience. Come away, and maybe come back again. But again, a victory is a victory, especially when it goes towards your record. But it was a really, really good night of fights. Again, so consistent is the Contender Series. Really, really enjoyable. 4 new fighters added to the UFC. What more could you want? That about does it for this video log, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for everything so far. Whether it be a click on the website, a click on the Facebook, a click on the Twitter, a mention, a like, a love, a hate, who knows. But I really, really appreciate it. And like I said, we'll be back next week with another video log for the UFC Contender Series Week 8. I think it's the final one. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that one. But I really, really appreciate it. Keep checking the website, guys. This week there's going to be a Dillashaw Garbrandt 2 preview coming out, whether a video form or print form, I don't know. Obviously, DJ is fighting Cejudo again. Another rematch on the card on the UFC 227 this Saturday. There will be no live updates, I'm afraid, because I'm actually going to be away. But we're going to have a podcast out, sometime this week. We're going to discuss the weekend's event that's gone. And then we're going to talk about Dillashaw Garbrandt as well next week as well. So plenty of content to keep you ticking over on the website. Until next time, guys, enjoy the fights and enjoy the rest of your week.